Robert Halfon, you're here as part of Essex fostering Fortnight. Has this been more as a fact-finding afternoon for you?
I first of all thank Essex Council. It's actually the national fostering fortnight, and there are incredible foster parents up and down the country, and of course in Harlow and in Essex. And we contacted Essex Council and asked if I could meet foster parents just to literally hear what is going on, to give me some ideas that I can take back for the government, to speak to the Children's Minister, who's called Claire Tino. And I've just had a really good session with parents. I've also met an incredibly inspirational young lady who you've interviewed in your Harlow, and she's one of the top parathletes in the world, and also is going, once she finishes BMAT STEM Academy, is going to go off and do a nursing midwife apprenticeship, and she's being looked after by a foster family. Pretty incredible lady.
So you've got all this information you've heard this afternoon. What happens next with the information? How can you help? The different people who are here this afternoon, how can you help them?
So the government made some important announcements about foster care over the past few weeks, which is important. There's 24 million pounds, in fact, being invested across councils around England to help with recruitment and retention of foster carers. They've also done some work to make tax easier for foster carers and put some other multi-million pound investment in as well. But what I wanted to do was actually listen to those. That's all good news, but I wanted to listen to the families. So they were talking about resources, they're talking about housing, they're talking about placements, they're talking about the social workers and the turnover of social workers as well. So my job is to listen to what they say. I'm going to now go and write all that up for the Children's Minister and try and get a response to the families and work with Essex Council.
Does this in some way segue seamlessly or neatly into your responses as a minister? People talk about the lack of social workers and trained social workers, and do you often thinking, as you said about BB and apprenticeships, are you often the wheels whirring over thinking apprenticeships, getting people into jobs and trained very quickly?
It's absolutely right. There are always resource issues. I won't deny that. And of course, we've got a very difficult economic situation with COVID and the billions and the trillions of debt. And Essex Council doing everything they can to support strong foster families and to make sure the children are looked after. But of course, one of the key things is training people with the skills that we need. And we're doing a lot of work on early years, on social work apprenticeships and apprenticeships to make sure that people have the skills. There are enough social workers for the future.
Another busy week in Parliament. You've been in front of a number of committees, is that right?
Yeah, your Harlow never misses anything. So I had to appear before all the House of Lords have got a committee, and the body is called the Industry Regulatory Committee. So it's a bit of a tongue twister. That is, when you appear before a committee, it's like going to court. So it's literally like a court, and you have to give evidence for a couple of hours. So you have all these either MPs or Lords around a room, usually 15 of them, asking you very detailed questions. You have to do an enormous amount of preparation. They were asking about universities and about jobs and about skills, and to make sure that young people get the best benefit they can when they go to university, or even doing degree apprenticeships as well. So I had to do that. I've had to do some round tables with universities today. Of course, I've been all over. I did my surgery, MP surgery this morning for a few hours, and then I've been to business, amazing food business, also doing one of my favourite things, meeting some incredible apprenticeships from Bidford, which was really good. And I've come here, and what else have I? How could I forget Canalability? I went to see that incredible, wonderful organisation. Everybody in Harlow, we should get right behind and support everywhere we can that does canal boats and supports all kinds of people from disabilities who have other disadvantages in life, but takes them on canals, up boat rides in the most incredible boats up and down the River Store, and it's most wonderful organisation.
Two more things. Are you really going to try and make everybody at school do maths right through 6th year? That seems a little harsh.
No, so what that is all about, and I'd had to do an interview about this, I struggled at maths, and I said that I had to do an interview on LBC, and I admitted this. I think this is the first time that's publicly known that I really struggled at maths. So when I was looking at it, I had a very tough time. I managed to get the O level as it was pre-GCSE down from an E to a C after weeks and weeks of doing it again. But the thing is, maths is incredibly important because it isn't just about doing trigonometry or weird equations. It helps you when you get a bill through the post, right? If you get a bill through the post and you can understand numbers, you can understand that bill a bit easier. It helps you when you do your weekly, shop. When you get your pension, you get your wage slip. It helps you understand that and how much tax you're paying. So this is about maths and literacy. It isn't about making everyone do A level till 18. It's about practical maths and help with financial literacy. So helps us all understand. I include myself in this, financial budgets and all this, up until the age of 18, because what happens at the moment is I was allowed to do this. I was so bad at maths, I managed to pass, as I said, but that was it. I never had to do it again. What I should have been asked to do was even the most basic courses. The other thing about maths is it leads you to great careers for everything, and so it's not just about engineering, it's all kinds of jobs that needs even a basic kind of mathematics. I met an apprentice today, an apprentice, she hadn't got a GCSE maths, and this was at Bidford. She's an incredible lady. She was doing functional skills maths as part of her apprenticeship. She said it had, and I said, what benefit did it bring? She said, now because she did sales and stuff with the clients, she said, when I speak to the clients on the phone, because I now understand percentages, I can in 10 seconds know exactly what's gone right and what's gone wrong. And so that's an example of, that's what the Prime Minister's talking about. It's not about everyone doing an A-level maths to 18, it's about giving everyone practical maths that leads to good careers.
And finally, speaking of young people, is 22 too young to be the leader of a council?
It's I would say it's not about age. You had a Prime Minister, I think he was called Pitt the Younger. When was that? You're a historian, the editor of your Harlow. It was 18th century? I think he was in his 20s.
1830s.
Yeah, I think he was in his 20s, and I'm very proud of Dan Swords. He worked in my office for 4 years. He started off as an apprentice. The guy, when he first started, he wouldn't say boo to a goose. That guy works 4 years off his own merit, got an apprenticeship in my parliamentary office, through his own merit got elected to council, and who would have imagined it? He's ended up as leader of Harlow Council, so I'm proud of him. I thank Russell Perrin. I thought he was a brilliant leader, and I'm very grateful to him for all that he has done, but I'm also proud of Dan, and it shows you that if you do an apprenticeship, the world is your oyster. You can the sky's your limit. It's you can achieve anything. Especially if you do an apprenticeship.